Hello and welcome back to the podcast. My name is Gwen Montoya. I'm a marketing strategist. I'm very glad that you joined me today. If you are a returning listener, thank you so much for coming back. If you're just checking me out for the first time, thank you so much. I'm glad you're here. I hope you learned something helpful today. On today's episode, I want to talk about what to do when you are feeling overwhelmed, when you feel like everything is happening at the same time and you're struggling to prioritize where you want to put your focus. And hopefully by the end, you'll have a plan that you can implement and you'll feel less overwhelmed. If you've ever felt overwhelmed in your business or you're not sure where to start, this is for you. I want to share some tips and strategies so that you can feel more confident, more in control, and less overwhelmed when it comes to doing your marketing, even when things are busy, even when things are hectic, even when you're being pulled in a bunch of different directions. In just a minute, I'm going to share a flowchart that I created for my membership group. The reason that I created it for them is they asked me to create something that could help them make decisions day to day and also help plan their big picture strategies. And it was a really interesting challenge because the people in my membership group don't all have the same kind of business. They don't all have the same kind of personality. So it was a really interesting challenge. And so I want to share it with you. When you are feeling overwhelmed, I really want you to be able to step back and think about what really needs to happen in your business versus what you would like to have happen in your business. Because sometimes in certain days or certain weeks, we have to look at what the minimum that we can do to maintain our business and also juggle everything else we have going on in life. If we're trying to give everything to our business every single day, constantly with no breaks, we're going to get overwhelmed. I also don't want you to feel bad that there are some days when you are just coasting in your business just a little bit. That is completely normal. And I don't think that anybody goes hard every single day without breaks because it's not sustainable. Next, is there anything that you can outsource, even for a little bit? And often in business, when people think about outsourcing, they think about hiring a VA, they think about bringing on a team member. You may not be in that position yet, or you may already have one, and that's not necessarily where your stress is coming from. So when we're talking about outsourcing, I also want you to think about what you can hire out in your own life. Maybe it looks like grocery delivery for you. Maybe it looks like takeout a couple of times a week. Maybe it looks like using paper plates every now and then to save you time and cleanup. Or maybe it looks like hiring a housekeeper to come in once a week or once a month to do a deep clean for you. Whatever it is that takes some of the work off of your plate, that's what I want you to think about. And I know we normally talk about business here, and business is what I'm going to focus on. But I don't think for most of us that we can separate our personal life from our business life completely so that they never overlap. It's just not going to happen. Another important thing to think about is, where does your money come from? One of the questions you'll hear me ask it here a lot: where did your last 5 or 10 sales come from? When you figure out where your last 5 or 10 sales came from, then you can figure out where to put your focus. So if, for example, you're feeling overwhelmed, if you look at where your last sales came from, you know that you can focus even when pulling back. You can focus on those areas where you know that you can generate sales. I also think one of the things that we can do when we're feeling overwhelmed, one of the best things we can do, in fact, is to take a breath, to take a pause, not just to pull back, but to really give ourselves time to recharge, give ourselves time to rest, and just give our brains a little bit of time off. Taking time for yourself, especially when you're a small business owner, is just as important as hustling. It's just as important as getting that email out. And it is just as important as anything else you do in your business, but it often gets overlooked. Now that I've shared some tips about what you can do when you're feeling overwhelmed, let's talk about that flowchart to help you get consistent, stay consistent, and have an order of operations so that when you are feeling overwhelmed, you know what to focus on. You can use this flowchart for planning day to day. You can use it for planning your weeks. You can even probably use it for some big picture marketing planning because I think it's helpful there too. So let's get into the flowchart. Number 1 is communication. Do you owe somebody an email? Do you need to check your DMs? Does somebody owe you an email? Do you need to follow up with somebody? Do you need to make phone calls, or do you need to send some invoices? All of these things keep your business moving forward. It also keeps you on track so that even if you're feeling overwhelmed, you know that you can start with communication to make sure that you're not dropping any balls and nobody is getting lost in the shuffle. Next is current project. Now, I break mine into 2 different sections. Yours may be a little bit different. So the first thing that I think about when I'm thinking about current projects is, what do I owe somebody? Do I owe somebody a marketing audit? Do I need to look at somebody's SEO? Did I say that I would send somebody a resource? Any of those kinds of projects where somebody is waiting on me to give them something, I like to make sure that I'm on top of those. The other kind of current project that I like to focus on is, what do I owe myself? What did I say I was going to do for my business? What did I say I was going to do in my personal life so that my personal things don't fall behind either? Next up is visibility. Staying visible in our business is so incredibly important, especially over the long term. So when it comes to being visible, I'm thinking, do I need to work on my content calendar? Do I need to schedule more posts? Do I need to send an email to my list? These are things that increase my visibility and keep me top of mind for clients. And this particular visibility is designed to get you in front of your clients. So if you're not sure where to start, Think about where your clients hang out, what kind of social media platforms do they use? What kind of content do they like to consume? What do they like to learn about? How can you help them do that? All of those things lead to giving you more visibility. This next one, again, may depend on your business, but another thing that I like to think about when I am feeling overwhelmed and I'm trying to prioritize what I want to work on, one of the other aspects of visibility is outreach. So that is being active in community groups, that is going to networking events. If speaking or presenting is part of your business model, then looking for those opportunities. So there's visibility as far as what we create on our own social media and the platforms that we can control. And then there's visibility in other ways as well. And I think that handling both of those pieces are really important because it's two different kinds of visibility, but they both pay off in the long run. So you've handled your communication, you're current on projects, you've posted on social media, you've sent an email to your list, you've done some networking. What is the next thing you can do when you're not sure what to do next? The next one is future money. And we already know where your last 5 to 10 clients came from. But next, I want you to think about where your next clients will come from. Specifically, what can you work on? What can you create? What can you do that will create future income for you in a pretty predictable, solid way? Depending on your business, it can mean a lot of different things. It might mean going back to where you got your last clients. It might mean branching out into a new area that you know clients are there. You just haven't had a chance to build the on ramp for them, basically. Next is shiny objects, and I love shiny objects. Don't get me wrong. I think that they are fantastic. However, one of the things I often see for small business owners is they get caught up in the idea of shiny objects and they jump from idea to idea to idea, which means that they're not necessarily making progress. They're having a really good time with a lot of new ideas, but they don't actually finish them. So once you've gone through all of the other things, once you know that your communications are caught up, once you don't owe anybody any projects, once you are confident that you have shown up for yourself in your own business, once you're confident that you know where your next money is coming from, then that's when you can think about those shiny objects. These are things that might bring money, maybe in the future. They might be good connections. At some point in the future, they're kind of fun, they're kind of exciting, but kind of like eating our vegetables, we have to do the other work first because if we just focus on the shiny objects, we can get lost in that process of ideation, the dreaming, the having fun with it, and then we don't actually make progress. So that's why I save it for last. Not because I don't love shiny objects, not because I don't want you to feel creative, not because I don't want you to explore new things, but because I want your business to thrive and you have to do the other pieces first or you're going to get stuck. So that's my flow chart. I think it's really helpful. It's something I use for myself. It's something my clients use to help them figure out where they want to focus their attention next when they are feeling like everything has to happen at the same time. This gives them a chance and kind of a step-by-step process to pull back and really think about where they want to focus, what is a shiny object versus what is a sure thing, what kind of communication they owe somebody so that balls don't get dropped. This has just been really helpful for them, and I wanted to share it with you. That's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for joining me. If you have any questions, please email me, Gwen at gwenmontoya.com. If this has been helpful for you, I would love to hear how you're using it.